mean, I can read them, and I start glancing over and skipping over stuff, and it gives me an idea what it does, but I don't learn a goddamn thing from it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I have to actually sit there and do it. But then if I do it, I can like pop through pretty damn quickly.
Well, that's one thing that if you showed me how to do anything, I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
If you show me how to do it. But the
So that
problem is,
might be the thing with you is that you might just need to, and the thing is you know, you might get frustrated because there's some people that even though they can do stuff and learn it, there's certain technologies because they don't even know where to start, so to speak.
right, and I'm kind of in that boat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I've met
yeah.
a lot of people like that that are freaking brilliant with a lot of other things, but you stick them in front of a computer and say, "Figure this out." They click on a couple things. They're like, "You know what? Fuck this. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to try and figure it out because it's so infuriating."
And that's pretty much what happens to me. And the reason for that with me, I can't speak for everybody, right? But it's part of the thing. Like you have to have the perfect soup to end up with what I've got, right? And I have a hyperactive. It's a hypersensitive amygdala, right? Which means I can't regulate my
medulla oblongata.
Exactly. I can't regulate my emotions, so I don't have the ability. So like I will overreact to something, huh?
That might be my son, bro.
You never know. Like I can't regulate my emotions, so I overreact to pretty much everything. But the problem with that, though, right? It's not even the biggest problem. Is that I also have a thing where I don't have the ability. You know, like when if you're happy, right, and then something fucked up happens, that's a big drop in emotion, right?
Yeah.
I can't handle the drop of emotion, so I'm already looking for something to be wrong.
Oh,
So if something bad happens, well, that's okay because I was already expecting it.
yeah. That's me all the way. And they found out studies have shown that people who are like that, pessimists, actually go through life basically happier.
Really?
Yeah, because if you're an optimist and you want to think positively about the outcomes, you can get let down all the time when they don't work out right.
Right.
But if you're a pessimist, it's sort of the opposite. Like, you know what? I'm going to go there and they're not going to hire me. So, I'm going to go there and do it, but I know it's not going to work out and I don't care, whatever. And then I go there and I don't get hired. And all that happened was what I expected. And so from an emotional point, there's not much of a drop.
Right. And
then when I go in there and I get hired, then it's an emotional boost. It's like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. And then this good thing happened. So.
Right. Now imagine that, though, but you were completely neurotic.
I cannot.
and that is me. So it's exactly that. My brain is always looking for what's going to go wrong because I can't handle the emotional drop. But I'm neurotic, so I'm worried all the time.
Right. So even if it goes right, you don't get the boost from it.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. So like it's and the problem with that is that you have to have the trait neuroticism anyway. It's genetic, so you inherit it, right? I have a hyperactive brain, so it just just everything's in overdrive all the time. So I can't turn it off. I can't stop it, right? And last thing is you have to have traumatic events. So you have a series of traumatic events all the time before you're emotionally able to handle it, and then you just get trained to that. Nope, just fucked up things are going to happen, and you're nervous about the bad thing that's going to happen to you before it happens all the time because something bad always happens.
Yeah, that sucks, bro. So there's techniques, right? I mean, I know it's sort of like if you're an addict to something. Like for me, I used to smoke. And there are times where that temptation comes back. So it doesn't go away, but you learn how to just sort of live life.
And that's exactly it. There's management, there's coping mechanisms. The problem is like they say that more than half of people who have it don't work. More than half of people who have it are completely disabled.
Wow.
It's like 56% of people who have it are completely disabled. But if you know the coping mechanisms, then you can manage it. But there's no cure. You're just dealing with it all the time. So you never know where you're going to overreact to something. You never it sucks when you wake up in the morning and you're already nervous.
Yeah.
But there's also stress indicators with that too, though. Like I've noticed the more that I'm stressed out, right? So like I got my wife and my kids that I have to take care of them, even when I don't want to. That's fine. But then you have your job, But but then there's school, but then I have my in-laws, right? And I'm already ultra sensitive. So if two of them are trying to get at me at the same time, I
Right.
can't handle it. It's too much for me to handle.
Mm.
Can't do it. And I start freaking the fuck out. Now, the thing that's weird is that the thing that's fucked up, right, is that you're feeling this the whole time, right? Until you know that, yeah, that's what it is. You're feeling this, and you're always looking for that moment where it's all going to snap back, and it's just that one thing that's going to happen, and whew, thank fuck that's over with,
Yeah.
And the reality is that that's probably never going to come. So for like the show, for instance, right? One of the things that worries me is that I don't make a lot of money, right? And I'm training to do something, right? But I have a difficulty with stress management. I have a different, so like I almost have to be in business for myself. Right?
Yeah, because then you're actually more in control that way, because if there is some issue, you don't have to worry about, well, no matter what, I have to be 100% at my job. I can tell this customer, we have to reschedule.
Right. Exactly.
And, usually and since you would have a palette of customers, you can do that and cycle through them, and everybody understands once or twice. You don't have to worry about it.
Right. You could also set your day up to maximize your abilities and minimize your liabilities.
Right. Yeah. So if mornings are crap, then you never do shit in the morning, but you could work all night.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. When simple things like when somebody's going nuts at home, you go, all right, I got to go to the office. I got to go get work done.
Right.
And pour yourself into it, because it's, and that's another thing too, though. Like the more you could distract, the more that you're actually into things, the less you think about it. So when you're doing stuff like when I'm playing ball, I'm not thinking about it. But even then, playing ball, I've done it my whole life. I've done it at a level that's better than most of the people that I've played with my whole life. And I'm still and it's gotten worse as I gotten older. But I'm nervous every time I go to play.
There's time involved. You need to do. Here's one of the crazy things that I found out. Because I remember taking flying lessons.
Yeah.
And people, isn't that stressful? They said, and I didn't even think about it before. And I said, it's actually the opposite, because I am so in the moment when I'm flying that airplane. Literally, I don't even have the capacity to think about anything else that was worrying me or stressing me out. I can't. I actually don't have the ability in whatever my brain power is to devote any other resources except for flying that goddamn airplane. And for that hour that I was up there, it was the most in the moment of my life that I could ever be, with the exception of maybe scuba diving.
Right.
Scuba diving sometimes when we were in Cozumel, it was drift driving. So I was literally just floating around looking at stuff. Your mind can wander then. You don't have to be 100% in it. But that's another one. That's maybe one of the things that you need for your downtime, is something that puts you so in the moment. Like, if I don't do this, I will die kind of thing, quite literally.
Right.
Then you might actually have some of the most freest moments you've ever had in your life.
No, I do have to watch out for panic attacks too, though. And you've seen me go through them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the thing with me, is that it's a little bit,
Yeah, and that's the shit, right? There's no one answer. There's no one fucking thing, right? Because then we'd just be like, oh, just do fucking this, and
right,
you feel better or whatever, right? And I find this is where I struggle the most, is not letting shit get out of balance, right?
Yeah.
Finding that happy medium between doing something that you really have the pressure, but then not having the the overstress reaction of fuck, I like I'm under this deadline, I'm under this and that's where those people that are good under pressure jump up, right? And that's a trait that doesn't have to necessarily come with all the negative traits too. There's some people that are just great under pressure. Like go ahead.
I used to be, but too many hits. It's like flying a airplane through flak, and you just keep taking flak, and you keep taking flak. Eventually, the plane goes down. But I don't have the ability to regulate. I'm always like you said, you're always that with this deadline, you got to get it done. But then that, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. I'm like that when my wife sends me for groceries.
Oh my God, I'm the same way.
Yeah, it's a mess.
She sends me for something. She could send me for 5 things. It'll take me 2 hours because it's got to be to the letter freaking perfect.
You got to make sure it's the exact right one, exactly how she wanted it.
I have trouble. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, exactly. Go ahead.
I was just saying, and if I have trouble finding it, it is the most stressful goddamn thing in my life.
Yep. And it's like, for me, it's because I don't want to upset her. But you create in family therapy, what I do, right, or what I'm training for, right, which is ironic. One of the things I talk about all the time is double binds, right? There's a double bind situation where if you do there's 2 outcomes, and by doing A, you're automatically wrong with B, or by doing B, you're automatically wrong with A. But with the situation that you're dumped into, you either have to do A or you have to do B. So no matter what you do, you can't win.
Mm.
And we get ourselves into a number of these situations, right, all the time. So a lot of times I'm working myself into that same situation because, like, I'm already worried that I'm going to get the wrong thing, right?
Right off the bat.
So that, right off the bat. So then I'm anticipating how she's going to get upset and why she's going to get upset, right? So then I wind up creating these situations where I will act in certain ways that's going to set her off no matter what. And it's not really her fault. It's actually me that's doing it. I'm creating the situation.
Right. You're giving, it's like body language and demeanor and all that.
All of it, right. My tonality. One thing I do is I do this to you guys, and I know that I do this to you guys. When we have a disagreement, right? I just, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't see it? What do you mean? Over like the dumbest shit. And I don't even know that I'm doing it. It's happening, and you know, and then later on I'm like, oh fuck, oh god, I did that. You know,
then that's that, the other side of it where you like probably beat yourself up more so than necessary, so to speak.
Right,
almost like a cascade effect kind of thing,
and it just spirals all the time. So you're always doing that. It's like you're trying to. I felt like most of my life I've trying to catch up to something, to catch up to whatever doing it right is, you know. So you don't constantly have that.
Right, you're on you're on the runaway train, and you spent your life trying to work your way up to the engine room so you could slow the goddamn thing down because the engineer's dead. And then you've stopped and you've looked, and you're like, all these years have gone by and I've only gotten halfway there.
Yeah, exactly. And no matter how hard I can't get all the way there. You have a visitor, Scotty.
I see her on the stairs. I heard her up there. She's supposed to be in bed.
Yeah, I figured that. I've got one of them too.
Right, her mom's traveling. Here we are recording live, and she's in the background.
Yep.
Why not? Right, and going back to the pessimist thing too, like Scotty was talking about before. It's like, you know, he said like the bar is set so low for them, right? So they're actually happier.
Come on.
But then also, if you go into that interview as that ultimate pessimist, that I know I'm not going to get the job, so why should I even try?
You set yourself up for failure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's like that's the downside of saying like, oh, pessimists are actually happier people. Like, but
right,
are they really?
Right, because the thing is that you get exactly what you expect, but do you get what you actually want?
See, I told you today was going to suck. Like,
right.
That's no way to go through life either, right?
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's the thing that's weird for me is that I don't wake up thinking the day is going to suck. I wake up looking for the things that are going to make it suck. Because I'm trying to avoid the day sucking. I want it to be a good day. So because I'm trying to avoid the day sucking, I'm trying to look for the things that are going to sabotage. Oh no, not that over there. It's going to make the day suck.
Yeah. And then almost too, you get into another one of those, chicken or the egg. Like, because you're looking for something to go wrong, is that why you find it?
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it's fucked up, man. It's a spiral that if you're not careful, it's easy to fall into and hard to get out of.
Well, the thing that you learn is that it happens when you're a kid, and it doesn't show up until you're that you're in your 30s. So it's a weird thing. It's all from it's genetics. Scotty, you definitely have something on there, because when you weren't even there, it was switching to your camera.
I don't think he hears you yet.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, it helps to have headphones in. Scotty, you definitely have a speaker or something going on over there, because yours was it would switch to yours even when you weren't sitting at your thing.
Try as my phone.
Yeah, that could be it.
Because the dingy dong went dingy ding.
Either that or the ghost.
Yeah, there it is.
That could be too. Yeah, I'm just keeping this on because when I told Jen I might be down here, she said, well, make sure you keep the phone with you because if something happens, because she's traveling from Newark Airport.
Oh, fun.
I got to make sure I'm by the phone so if she needs something, I'm there. So, sorry if my dingy dongs.
Your dingy dongs. Always your fucking dingy dongs.
Interrupted.
All right, let's do the intro. Let's roll into the intro. There it is. Well, good evening, folks. It's Wednesday, July 10th, 2019, and you're in the garage with me tonight, Scott Zielinski.
Good evening, gents and ladies.
Thaddeus Smith.
Wasn't awkward at all. What's up? Hello, gents and ladies.
Oops. Oh my God.
Ladies too.
All right, let's roll out of that.
Gee.
Well, there you go.
That was a failure.
Oh,
Not really.
What a way to start the show.
that's all right.
That's all right. That's all right. You can always make up for it later, Scotty.
And even so, man, sometimes the fuck ups is what gives us character too.
That's true.
Like,
Go ahead.
we're not here trying to fucking make some kind of like nationally acceptable broadcast of news, like
Definitely not acceptable.
No, true. We're the opposite.
Right. We're just trying to not be completely unacceptable.
Right. Sometimes I screw it up so bad. I'm actually one of those people that, for real, in the wild, there's a couple of girls, and I'm like, they're kind of giggling and want to sort of sauna her up, and it seems like there could be something going on. I'm like, so you got a name? And they just started busting up laughing and walked away. I was like, did I just really fucking say that? Like, how stupid.
That's okay. That's not the worst thing. It's all a matter of how you deliver it. Because I've used I've learned this from the masters. I've used to use things like I have no idea what my cholesterol is as lines.
Icebreakers by John.
But well, they teach you that exact line. I don't know. I have no idea what my cholesterol is. That comes from a book that's specifically made about picking up women. Yeah, because the thing is that all dudes have anxiety, approach anxiety. Every single one of them. It doesn't need like the greatest pickup in the world, artist in the world, who slept with every hot chick you've ever seen on TV, right? He still has approach anxiety. He's afraid.
Yeah, because everyone is different.
Everyone, and the thing is, and see, this is the thing. We are made to constantly nail women and impregnate them. That's what we're designed to do as a creature, right?
Body make for procreation.
So for us, the ultimate rejection is for somebody that we want to mate with to say no. It's the ultimate rejection because she's telling us we can't do what we're here to do.
Right. I don't want to risk of having a spawn of you.
Right, and that's exactly what she's telling you when she's not going to do it. I would never have your baby. What, are you crazy?
Right.
And you're picking it up.
Dirty my gene pool.
So every dude has approach anxiety, right? Now, if you're going in there trying to, but you got to talk to them, because if you don't talk to them, you're never going to get in.
Right. You could have probably picked those chicks up when we were with the freaking wildebeest shit. Wildebeest.
Absolutely.
I picked this chick up and nailed her because they talked about a wildebeest.
Right. Because it's not about what you say; it's having the balls to say it. Right. And now, when you say something that's ridiculous, now if you were trying, like Scotty on his approach, was trying to get the girls right there in the first line, right? But another thing that you're supposed to do is eliminate yourself as a suitor. The minute she thinks that you're trying to fuck her, her self-defense is go up.
Yes. I never even. Yeah, that's
Right?
Okay.
So if you come a pro, if like you're hunting, their defenses are up right away.
Right.
And this is why cocky funny works, because cocky funny, it's a push pull. You are funny, you're a funny guy, and then you say something insulting them. Yeah. Nice shoes. Look at the tiny feet. Don't worry, I think they're adorable.
God, I did that by accident once. I almost coulda, right? Because I was talking to this one, and it was high school, and then I was like, I like called her short or something, and she got all like offended, and then her friend came over to me to then, sort of figure stuff out, and I had no idea what I could have just capitalized on then, because she was actually having a second thought, and if I played it right, I could have like taken her to prom or whatever that was me trying to do. Right. But I was in high school. I didn't know any better. I'm like,
but the thing is you only know that if you're trained to do it. You only know that if you're trained to do it. If you do it all the time.
Yeah. Or you fail enough that you figure that stuff out.
Well, that's usually the case. Yeah. Even the best fail a lot early. Right. Until you get used to it.
Well, I think the idea is like going from a 1% success rate to like 20% success rate.
Look, if you're hitting 1 or 5, you're all right.
20x factor.
If you're hitting 1.5, you're at the bar every day. You're hitting 1.5. That means twice a week. You're getting late.
Hell yeah! Instead of like once every 100.
Yeah, exactly. And you're winning. You're a success if that's the case. Evolutionary wise, you're a success. Genetically,
tiger blood.
Okay.
Wait, what?
You said winning, and that made me think of fucking what's his name in Tiger Blood. Yeah.
Wow, that threw me off.
Sorry.
I don't remember what I was saying.
Charlie Sheen can do that to you.
You were saying try and get laid twice a week.
Eliminating yourself as a suitor, part of it, right?
Yeah.
So if you say something that's completely ridiculous, think about what happens, right? You're having the balls to go up to him. You're breaking the ice. You're starting the conversation. You are eliminating yourself as a suitor because you're not, hey baby, you drop those knickers, and you're not doing that. You're
hello, ma'am. Would you like to drop your knickers?
But you're saying something that's completely ridiculous that has them like confused. What? Yeah. What just happened
here? Yeah.
And they're kind of laughing at it, and in there they don't know what to do. So right, but for you, because you're not trying to get them with the first fell swoop, you're saying something that's completely ridiculous. You're going to have a little more fun with that than if you were trying to be serious. So you're going to be more natural, and you're going to be calmer about it and more confident because you're not trying to pick her up with the one thing.
That's counter my training, bro. It's one shot, one kill.
Yeah. Well, aim small, miss small.
What? What does that even mean?
Aim small, miss small. If you aim for somebody's head, much greater chance of missing. You aim for their chest, you're probably going to kill them.
Nah. People are pretty resilient, especially when you're talking to the ranges and body armor and shit. You hit somebody at 500 yards and you hit him in the chest, center mass. There's a decent enough chance that they might even be able to keep fighting.
Not with a Mosin.
Huh?
No. Hit him with a Mosin.
Not with a mimosa. Mimosa.
We know what's on his mind.
Oh, Jesus. It's not my night. It would be funny.
I threw a goddamn mimosa at him, went down like a little bitch.
Somebody get this man a drink.
Pineapples, right? Pineapple mimosa, right? Anyway, Yeah, you don't even have to hit him to kill him with a Mawson.
I know that was the best gun I ever fired in my life.
Actually, like Florida's a nice gun place. I got to bring that sucker down there one day.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I gotta. Well, I have a couple, but I mean they're not mine, so I gotta get some that are actually mine and train with them. It's something I haven't done since Vegas.
That Mawson was cheap, bro. It was less than $100.
I remember when you bought it. You wrote a story about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's right.
It's published in a book.
But sure as hell is.
Yeah, you know it's weird. It's like I'm gonna have to cut out the part where I clipped the intro and just go straight through.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, I don't mind. This is actually, but we went from pickup artist psychology shit to fucking blowing shit up with Mosins, with shooting down range at people and hitting them in the chest.
Yeah, well,
relative.
It's similar. It's the hunt.
I guess you're
the hunt.
You're getting a target. You're hitting it in the chest with something.
Yeah, whether it's my cock or a freaking steel core round.
It's a hot load.
Don't make the mistake though of confusing the two. Like, don't throw your dick at somebody's chest to try and kill him. Like, that's just...
have you met my dick?
Yeah, I mean that depends.
Well, all right. So on the flip side, don't shoot a fucking girl in the vagina with a Mosin. I mean, it works that way too.
True. Works.
That also depends.
Oh my God. Oh man. Yeah, there's an X out there that I'd probably extend the bayonet.
Horrible. Extend the bayonet. I'm not even talking about that. That's sick. That's some medieval shit. Scotty wants to get medieval up in there.
Damn straight. And that thing spits fire when you pull the trigger.
It does. It's like a flamethrower. It's amazing.
Broad daylight in the Vegas sun at noon, and you could see this big giant flame come out. God, I love that thing.
Crazy. Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
Where are we?
I'm gonna put something to dump out of the set here, just in case.
Right.
Captain Smackahoe in us.
I don't know, because I felt that was going dry, but it was good out of nowhere without us trying.
Yeah, it did start to.
Yeah, that's I felt like it was starting to die down. So, but that's good though, because I could just clip the intro and go and right from the intro. So that's all right. But I definitely want to roll this one. All right, so roll this. So this week was our South Florida's Supercon at the Miami Beach Convention Center.
Yes, I saw some of the photos. That's awesome.
Saw that.
Yep,
So,
great shots. Yep.
I have started. I made the mistake of not paying to go meet Stanley, and obviously now I can't. Right?
Yeah.
And I've gone to the con. I've been going to cons since I was a kid. Before they were when they were popular and shit like that. So I go every year.
Like church basements and shit.
I used to sell at those shows. I used to, I
remember
the first thing I ever did. But so I go every year, and I take the kids. Now I got the kids all into it. This is the first year my boy could actually enjoy it. He's 3, and he can name every fucking character there is.
Awesome.
Like characters that I forget who they are. He knows who they are. Everybody has the jaw drop watching this kid. But Thaddeus will tell you, when you go to the Comic-Cons, especially like in New York, the best part of the cons isn't the booths. It isn't, although in New York it's cool because they have a lot of different shit you don't see. But it isn't the people selling the stuff. The cool part is you go to the panels. You go to when the creators of the show you like are starting a new show they're talking about. You go like I saw a thing on training on digital art, on doing digital graphics for the books, where they showed you how to do it. That was the New York Comic-Con. But with the kids, they're not going to sit through that. So you can't go to Comic-Con for that. So you're just going to fucking walk around and look at pictures of bullshit, right? I'm spending a lot of money to do it. So I figured, because I didn't get Stanley, and I can't do much with it anyway, but the kids still like to do it, and I'm still going to go. I might as well start paying to fucking take these pictures with people. Right? So I have one with Shatner. You guys saw the Shatner one, and everybody thinks he looks like my uncle. They realize, is that William Shatner? Because they think he's my uncle. Right? Except that I look like I have a look on my face like somebody put a thumb up my ass.
Yeah, but that's how you always look, so don't worry about it.
Sure, that's because there's always a thumb up my ass.
Sometimes yours, sometimes not.
No, but I think for you too, that the Shatner one was a little bit more of a big deal than like say some of the other random ones that you have.
It's true. I love that one. But this weekend, I happened to meet Richard Dean Anderson,
That's
MacGyver, the
that's awesome.
original, the only MacGyver.
I showed that to Jen. I was like, holy crud, bro.
It was really fucking cool. First, Game of Thrones almost took the throne. MacGyver's my favorite television show ever. I was like 7 or 8 when the show started, but I was in high school when it ended. You know, it was my favorite show ever. And Game of Thrones was there. Game of Thrones had it until they fucked it up in the last two episodes.
Yeah.
Right? And now it's But MacGyver, one of my favorite TV characters ever. Obviously, my favorite TV show. He should be, right?
Mhm.
So this is great. Now, when you go to do these things, right? Because they have all these people that are trying to take it. They try to rush you out of there, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here's your picture. Right. Get out. Oh, here's your picture. Right. Get out. Oh yeah. Here's your picture. Get out. Right.
Right.
But me, right? Huge fan of the show. I know that Richard Dean Anderson is a big hockey fan, right? And I don't play many video games, but to this day, I still love video fucking hockey. I'm 42 years old. I've been playing video hockey for fucking, I don't know,
30 years.
25 years.
Yeah.
Almost 30 years, almost. I've been playing video hockey forever, right? And ever since you could create guys, when I was like 16, I've created Angus MacGyver, right?
Nice. That's probably going back to like what, 93, 94?
92, I think that's the first. Well,
Okay.
94 is the first one. 94 is the first one that I really got into. 96 is the first one you create guys.
I couldn't remember which one the creation was. If it was
So 96
and 95, you could do it.
Yeah, there's a couple of like football games where you could do it earlier. But hockey, 96 is the first one you could create. Maybe it was 95 was the first one. 95 may have been, but it was shitty because you could make them 99 and everything. But I've always made Angus MacGyver. So I get on this line, and I ask Richard Dean Anderson, because he's a huge hockey fan, what's your favorite position in hockey? Because I want to, make it accurate on my game. I've got him right now.
Here's your chance. Get it from the source.
So exactly, right? So he tells me. So he stops the line, and he starts talking to me about hockey. Well, I was. Well, that depends. I really love to play left wing, but I'm a righty shot, and I was too slow. So I was so slow that I had to play defense. So because MacGyver is the TV superhero version of him. If you need to make MacGyver on your hockey team, he's a left wing with a left-handed shot because that's what he wished he could be.
Nice.
But when you make Richard Dean Anderson, he's a defenseman with a right-handed shot, and he's slow. But the thing is that they're trying to get me out of here because they're trying to get this line. Go, sir, come on, sir, this way, sir. Sir, this way, sir. Sir, this way. No, not you, Richard.
No, you stay. You get the fuck out.
Because he's following me. I brought up hockey, so he's following me talking about hockey.
Yeah, he's a huge hockey fan. He plays. I think he still plays.
That's such an interesting insight because we get wrapped up so much about these actors or whatever it is, or a producer, whatever, director, artist, about what we create. We forget, they've probably got some whole other life that, he did MacGyver and that meant a lot to him, but he probably did a lot of other shit. But like you were saying, his passion for years has been hockey. Probably on a personal level means more to him than MacGyver ever would. It paid the bills. It gets him paid today, but he loves hockey. So,
right. I mean, if that's what you wanted to do, you became an actor, but you really wish you were a hockey player.
Right. So you could pick any actor and find out well, what do they really like? They talk to people all day long about the same damn thing, the thing that they played in, the character, the big character they're known for, over and over and over.
Well, what was your favorite episode to film?
Yeah, and they probably don't even give a fuck about it. Like some of these people, especially that are in, what was it? Like Picard. Patrick Stewart knew nothing of the X-Men. You can't talk to him about X-Men.
Right.
You just can't.
Right. But if you're really a fan, find out something they're into. But
yeah.
I had somebody bring up today in an authors group that I'm in. They brought up the Dragonlance Chronicles. And we've done this on the show. A couple years ago, I met the Dragonlance Chronicles are some of my favorite books. When I was a kid, I never really read much of anything, but I read a lot of fantasy books. After high school.
Right?
Yeah,
and those things are what brought the fantasy genre into sort of like mainstream, because it connected the two worlds in a really good way.
Now, Tracy Hickman, who's one of the writers on the Dragonlance Chronicles, is considered the godfather of advanced Dungeons and Dragons. So if you're a Dungeons and Dragons fan, Tracy Hickman basically invented all the good storylines for it, right? Oh, cool. And this guy, he wrote these books, and I met him at a con, right? So I asked him about writing because I'm a writer. I asked him about the writing process. I told him what Scotty and I were working on, the types of stories that we're doing, like this, that we're doing. We were doing books of like short stories that are kind of, we're pulp fictioning them, so that you do it like a bunch of cool little one-shot stories that all together tell an overall picture, but there's a lot of looseness to it, right?
Right.
And he was, and because I got him right where we started talking about dragons, and he loves dragons, but I got him in something that he was passionate about, which is the writing process. It's coming up with the things, it's actually being a writer that he's passionate about it. Oh man, you're doing the right thing. Yeah, that's exactly what you should be doing. That's what people are into now. And he,
I know. Oh, sorry.
That's the infuriating thing, is that we're doing everything right, but we're not getting
just not enough of it, because
it's not enough of it. And,
depression.
Right. It's not enough of it, and it's not consistent enough. And if we were putting stuff out all the time, we would catch on.
Yeah.
But he talked to me for half an hour and basically ignored everyone else that was there to see him, because I hit something that he was passionate about.
Yeah.
So it's that's also the thing about us reaching those audiences. It's finding what they're passionate about. They say that all the time.
Well, that's the human condition. At the end of the day, these guys are just people, right?
Right.
And
right.
He loved hockey. He liked the writing process. That sort of like was in keeping with what he does. But if somebody came at him and talked about like issue number 72, what was your whatever for deciding to do such and such with the character arc and instead of yada yada.
Yeah. Shatter makes fun of that in a Saturday Night Live episode from years ago.
Yeah.
From like the 90s.
Right. It's like he's like, okay, yeah, whatever. But you get to that generalized thing that somebody loves. Like you just made me think of it. More than anything else in my life, in my world, of all the things that I've done, ever since I was a tiny little kid, the first time I had a mechanical typewriter, must have been 5 or 4. I can still remember it. I've wanted to be a writer. And for whatever reason, there's something blocking me in my head that I can't make that happen, seemingly. Biggest passion in the world, and here I am, like not able to get myself so into it that, Yeah,
well, you got to be able to leave it all in the field. Otherwise, it's so hard to break through that if you don't leave it all in the field, it's not going to happen. Yeah. Now, the Comic-Con thing, I was supposed to be, and I met going to those panels. I met a lot of like people that are really like heads of studios and stuff like that. Right. That's one thing that sucks about not being able to do that anymore, because I was getting to know people, and then it just stopped. But like I was supposed to be John Cusack this weekend, and he canceled. I guess it's because he made some anti-Semitic comments a couple weeks ago.
Whoops.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, he said not to get political on this show, but he made some comments about Israel and Palestine that are just not factually correct. And then he took a bunch of heat for it, and I guess he's hiding because of that. And to the point where like I paid to get to meet him, and then I saw that I was like, it kind of dinged me a little bit. But I'm a huge fan of his for a long time. I love all of his movies, so I'm not going to care about that. I'm going to go see him. But I guess obviously he got enough heat. It is Miami Beach. You can't say anti-Semitic things and come down to Miami Beach and not catch heat for it. So I didn't meet him, but coolest thing I was not expecting. Right, and this was great. My wife breaks my balls all the time because I love the movie The Warriors. Scotty, I don't know if you know the movie The Warriors.
No, but
all right. And this is funny because this all ties into this story here too. So like she breaks my balls relentlessly, and this is a classic. Everyone that I grew up with loves this fucking movie, right? Guys that are older than me that grew up in the city love this movie.
Mm.
So we're walking into Comic-Con, and we make the first left we make, and we walk up like 2 booths, right? And I'm looking, there's all this Warrior shit. Now, a week ago, the Warriors came on cable, and I recorded it just to point it at my wife. You see, you fucker.
On Stars. It's
Yeah,
still
it's on
there.
Stars.
You might be able
I
to
have it on my Blu-ray. You got to watch it, though.
Yeah, it's a good movie, man.
Yeah, classic, man. So like, she's all right. So we walk in like the second booth, right to the left. I'm singing all this way. Hey, babe, look at all this Warrior stuff. Look at this. And she's like, And I look up, and what do I see? Sitting there right in front of me is Michael Beck, who is Swan, who is the lead character of this movie. Right in front of me. I wasn't expecting this. This is something like, whoa, what the fuck is this? What's going on? Right. So I don't really care so much that I didn't get a picture with Cusack, even though I would still like to meet him.
Right.
Because I met Swan himself, War Chief.
Mm.
You know, and the thing was amazing, right? He took a picture with me and my son, right? And he was such an incredibly nice man, like an amazingly nice man. But he had this confidence about him. Like, I can be cool. I am cool because I can be. Like, he just had this swagger about him, but he was extremely nice. And he had like a strut to him, a kind of walk that like you could tell, yeah, you know, like when this dude was in the Warriors, he could probably kick your ass. Right?
For real.
Right. And like, but great dude. And I said to him, you know, I was like, you know, when you're from the city, and you know, the song In the City is big on the soundtrack, you know. But I was like, you know, when you're from the city, this movie kind of has a different, it means something different. He says, yeah. Exactly. He says, yeah, it's in the DNA. It was so great, man. It was epic. Yeah, so that was one of the cooler fucking things, man. So I was very excited about that. So that to me it was a successful con.
Oh, awesome. Fuck yeah.
I set it to record. It's done Friday at 10:30 tomorrow. Friday at 10:30 in the morning. I'll have it recorded.
Yeah, it's classic, man. I mean, there's some things in it that are a little preposterous now, because just you know,
it's 79.
Exactly. But man, like, I was in that sense of you know the people that you, I mean, the people that made you want to do the things that you want to do.
Mm.
These are the people that made you want to do the things you want to do,
Yeah.
And so it's just really cool meeting them, and then when they're actually as cool as you think that they would be, it's the best. It was the same thing way when I met the Highlander. I met Adrian Paul, the Highlander from the TV show.
Oh,
he
nice.
loved my kid. He reposted a picture that I took of him with my kid.
Nice. Well, you got a good looking family, so it makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Your balls spit out cute kids.
It was funny. It was like I grabbed this random book a long time ago when I was a kid. Yeah, like called Silver Sun. It was in like this used bookstore, a flea market or something. It was probably like $1.25, I think, for the book. Called The Silver Sun by Nancy Springer. And I love that book so much that was one of the driving forces where I was like, I want to be able to write a book. Not only do I want to be a writer, I want to write a book like this. And it geared me towards that fantasy genre, like high fantasy. And so we're talking like back in the early 80s. And it had always been in my head throughout life. I read Terry Brooks and some of the other things and Sanderson and all that, but always Nancy Springer was there for me. And then the modern age came along and I found her online, and she's got a Twitter account now. She's like 80 freaking years old or something like that, but she's still a writer. And I remember tweeting to her and telling her sort of like my little bit of a story. Like, she was one of those people that drove my passion. She had a similar passion and drove it to me. And just being able to have that little back and forth on Twitter with this real person that for like 30 years has just been this unknown, like just this thing in my head. It I never gave credit for like the cons and having the people there and meeting some of these people that really, as you put it, drive your passion. Because it's not just like, oh, I love that person. It's somebody that sparks some kind of common thing in you, like something that you love and want to do. And here she's going to be, one of her most recent books is going to be turned into a movie, I think, starring that girl from Stranger Things.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Billy Bobby Brown or whatever. I just finished watching it.
Yeah, I'm still on season 1.
Oh, yeah. But I'm not going to say that.
No spoilers, John. Did you enjoy the season?
I did.
Because there's people talking about it at work, and I'm like,
a little abrupt.
Yes.
But it felt quick. It felt too quick. But
yeah,
it was
I
good.
feel like if they could have maybe 10 episodes instead of 8.
That's exactly what I said. Even though my wife says consistently the other ones were the same way too. One was 9, season 1 was 9, and season 2 was 8 or something like that.
Yeah,
but I like this one more than season 2. I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think we're finding that you've got to have at least 10 episodes in a season, or it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's too rushed. It was too. I mean, pacing wise, it worked. Don't get me wrong.
Yes. Yeah.
It's more of a selfish thing that you want. You're like, this is it. Now I'm going to wait another year for next season.
Absolutely.
That's
exactly how you put it. It's a selfish thing because it's like, fuck, I want more of this. Give me more.
Right.
More.
I enjoyed it that much. The thing about Stranger Things, man, is like, I think we talked about this. I definitely, or maybe I was talking to my wife about it. I don't know. See, I think about you guys like my wife.
Yeah.
I can't tell now which one's which. Some people, like I could just come up with a story and just write it. Scotty knows if I just, okay, if you really want a story, I'll have a story for you tomorrow, But like some people have the ability to put themselves in a time frame. They could write a movie about the 70s and it's like everything's perfect, right?
Right.
I can't do that. I don't know how people do that. Like I grew up in the 80s and I don't know how to fuck people and how they're making this.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you, when I watch that show, it's like I feel like I'm 7 again. I feel like I'm 8 years old watching Cloak and Dagger, watching like all the same movies that you watched as a kid growing up. It put you right in there, man.
Because all the bits, everything, all the peripheral stuff that your subconscious is picking up on, down to the details, the way like sort of those stripe-colored shirts were, or like the jackets that they had, down to like how the hair was going and the cars in the background.
Even more than the authenticity, but like I said, the peripherals, right? Everywhere your eye looked, you were looking through the eyes of someone in the 80s.
Yeah.
You feel it's so much so that you feel like you're there again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it even starts from like that opening. I don't know if it changed, but I know from season 1, my life ended a couple years ago. We haven't everything is beyond. I haven't seen Walking Dead in 2 years. I haven't seen Stranger Things. This Is Us. Nothing, with the exception of Game of Thrones. Nothing. All of it got stopped. But
that's why you're not creating them.
Even like the opening. The way that Stranger Things looked and sort of the sound. Never underestimate the power of sound, like the way things sound. The car engines and
that sort of reverberation.
Yeah,
that the old sound systems would have, right? Your subwoofer,
because it's all mechanical and analog. Yeah,
you know what's funny about that? You want to hear something really, really gay? Although I'm not supposed to say that. The best way that I've ever heard it was on an episode of Dawson's Creek.
Dawson's Creek.
And he talks about film, how it takes music and video and whatever else to create a perfect moment. And with this show, for what it's doing, even right down to the intro, for the effect that it's trying to get with the music and everything that they do, they are creating that perfect moment. They're putting you exactly where they mean to put you, and it's all of it together. You can't underestimate music. Like the reason why Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a classic movie isn't because of the hacking people up.
Yeah,
I think it's the only movie ever made without any sound.
Wait, without any sound?
Of the talkie eras, without there's no background music. There's nothing. There's no music in the thing in the video.
I never saw it, so I don't.
Oh, okay. But like there's any movie that you
Texas
watch.
Chainsaw Massacre score.
There's no right. There's always background music in every movie that you're watching. You don't, but it's so subtle you don't pick it up, and you wouldn't even notice. But if it wasn't there, you would notice it though.
Yeah. Well, I wonder now. Like, was who was that heavy metal guy who made a movie? What was it called? House of a Thousand Corpses.
Rob Zombie, yeah.
Yeah.
Was there music in that? I don't think
I've never seen it.
Oh.
And if he did it that way, it would have been an homage to
right. And that's why I'm wondering, because now I'm thinking about it. Like, I don't know. There might not have been. Well, that was one of the things that I realized how much like the whole picture matters, because you think like these blockbuster things, you think of all these visuals, and that's what makes the movie. And I remember trying to when I first wanted to try and create some, I forget what they're called, mecha whatever's, basically making like little films, but only using computer animation type stuff. You remember those type of things, Sean? Like the movies was one where you could do that.
The on our emblem on our thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I've used the movies to make the Vega Pellegrino faces that I use for all of our shit. So yeah, I still have that. I still have that program somewhere.
Oh, I do too, and I bought it again too, just so I'd have it on whatever. Because one of the versions that I had was some digital thing that went kaput.
That's another thing that like another one of those technical things, like we were talking about earlier, pre-show. That I am shit at reading. I can't learn software because I'm shit. You show me how to use it, I'm going to be great. But I'm shit at fucking picking things up. And Scotty, during that time, like he's talking about, was already making like movies, animated movies, with these, and he was. I mean, they were like 30 seconds, but you were doing a bunch of them.
And that was the thing. And I remember like the first time I was doing that, I spent hours, and you're right, it was like a 30-second thing, but I spent hours doing this thing, and then I watched it and I'm like, that's fucking crap. It really is. And then you have to look at it, and I was like, if I spent 2 hours making this 30-second visual, I'd have to put 10 hours of sound into it. Every little thing, the footstep, getting on the couch, getting up the couch, the creak of this, the tap of that, a little bit of music that complements whatever those things are in the background. That could just be like a diddle-diddle-it. Shh, you smell something. But when he said that, it was diddle-diddle-it. And your brain, of course, puts it all together, and you don't necessarily realize it. Mm. But that's when I realized that just how significant the audio was in crafting. It could turn the best movie that ever was into the worst movie that ever was if you didn't do the sound right.
Yep. Everything has to work. If it doesn't work, that's maybe one of the things with our show is that everything has to work. And if our video isn't matching up with our audio, people aren't going to watch. It happens.
Yeah. Huh? But like when we were talking before about all the big moments in movies and all that kind of stuff, right? Right? Visually, right? A lot of action on the film. You're like, oh wow, oh this is cool, this is whatever. But what gives you that emotion? You guys get feedback?
Yeah, I was hearing a bunch of feedback. Yeah.
I wonder if your low tones are coming through my headphones and hitting my speaker. I'm going to try and turn my microphone gain down a little bit.
Could be good possibility of that.
Yeah, but it's the music that makes you feel the emotion of the scene, right? This epic battle, right?
How they build anticipation.
Yeah,
you know when something good is going to happen. You know when something bad is going to happen. In Star Wars, you know when Luke's going to use the Force. How
exactly? I was just going to bring that up. Like every character has their theme, right? And there's a long version, and I like how John Williams, right? And he's done this with some of his other movies too, and whatever. And it's like, so you have like this, Leia's theme, right? And it's the soft, like whatever, and then like he throws it into Empire when the part of the when they're going to Cloud City moment, right? And they're meeting Lando and all that shit, right? And it's like the way that he takes parts of different things and throws him in underneath, like Leia's about to have a big moment and you get a little Leia tingle, like like you were saying, like the sounds.
Like what they even do with him, John Williams even did was transitions. When you're transitioning from one scene to the other, and you would know like it was a dark side scene coming up, or it's a wasn't.
Yeah.
Based on the music they played during the transition. Crazy shit.
Yeah.
I have I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Star Wars Galaxies. It was an MMO back in the early 2000s.
Yes.
Oh God! I can't believe I've met somebody else who's played that. Oh,
I played it for like I don't know, a couple of years.
Me too. It was one of the most immersive Star Wars games I ever played.
Yeah, it was cool.
Absolutely freaking love it. Somebody like created a new server, and if you've got the disc, you can go back and play now again.
Oh shit!
It's just like these free servers or whatever that are out there. Yeah. But one of the things I remember so much is that while you were playing the game, they made it so that depending on what was happening, the score in the background emulated it.
Yeah.
So like I would be cruising along just out on Tatooine in my speeder going from one place to the other. It would like right, just some sort of relaxing music, and then like some creature would come out at me and it'd be like but it was all like Star Wars music, and it really set the mood and the tone. And that was one of the things that, like, when I went back in and started playing this game, I was like, oh, I forgot how much the music just got me really into that moment that I was in. I was doing a mundane task, or I was traveling from one place to the other, and this game actually played the right score in the background.
Yeah,
that's crazy. It was freaking incredible.
It was fun stuff. Yeah.
All right, let's dump out of that.
Oh shit! I didn't even know we were doing a thing. I thought we were just talking.
No, we will know what it was. What happened was, right. That's going to be ultra long, and there's a whole bunch of different things that we go through, right?
And I didn't even
what happened. There was good stuff in there, right?
Or watching
and I was sitting here for like 10 minutes with the plate like off to the side, right? And every time I was about to lift it up, one of you would make a point that was worth going on with, or Thaddeus hadn't said anything in 5 minutes, and then he jumped in. So I was like, "Oh, Thaddeus is talking. Let me get him in." So it was like there was no moment to like cut it out, and no reason to, other than time.
Yeah.
So that's actually that was actually working pretty good. I also too
there were long stretches where I wasn't saying anything, but I this episode more than anything else, and I think this is good too when we have these kind of episodes, because it shows a little bit more of our personality, character, depth, whatever, right? Getting like, for anybody that actually wants to listen to the show, like, to really get them involved and for them to want to really come back for it or eventually give money to it or whatever, they have to be invested with us as characters or right?
Or personalities. That's personality.
Personality, yeah.
An entity.
More than character, yeah.
Right. We have to help them with that more. We have to start doing a podcast, a blog. Each of us has to do like once a month, write a blog and stagger it. So like the first week is my week, the second week is Scotty's week, the third week is Thaddeus' week, and it doesn't have to be more than 3 fucking paragraphs, but it has to be 3 paragraphs on something you actually give a shit about. Something that you know what I mean? Or something that you're really thinking about, or something like that. It doesn't have to be crazy, but it's more content, and that's where you tell them, like, oh, by the way, August is going. Hangouts is going away August 1st.
It is fully.
Yeah, it's got a label right there. Hangouts on air is going away August 1st. For quick streaming, try YouTube/webcam. So they're allowing you to go on by yourself, but they're not allowing you to do this where you're doing a show.
Huh. So what's the point of it calling it Hangouts then?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hanging out with yourself? Fuck.
So we got about a month to figure something else out.
I was looking at something else, and I don't know if it's going to work, but fuck.
If I have to, I'll pay the $10 a month or whatever for the extra for the whichever one we decide to do. If it's Skype, if it's the only thing I don't like about it, I don't like anything that you have to have an account to log into.
Right, and that was the only thing. No account, no software. You should be able to put in through your browser and have it and have it just go.
Right. And the reason that's important is in case we're not home and we want to do it from the road. And it's more importantly for guests if we ever get to that point.
Right. Guests and be able to do it just from like anywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is always the bit of a hassle with the Skype stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
It's why we ultimately switched to Google Hangouts for the wrestling podcast part, because it was just easier.
Yeah.
It went right to YouTube.
Right. It always has issues. Always. There's always somebody got some issue with it.
Now, I don't mind uploading it to YouTube after I, if as long as we could have it recorded here, right? Especially, I still haven't tested it, but I bet if I uploaded something to YouTube, I could edit it straight on YouTube. I bet you their Creator Studio still lets you do that.
Maybe.
Yes, it allows you to do something. I remember being a pain in the ass, and then they keep asking to have you download I forget what they called it, but some kind of like third-party extension kind of thing.
Yeah, which I'll probably end up doing that. I don't know. We got to figure it out, though. Because we are, we're too far into the forest to fucking let this stop us now, is the way I feel about it.
Yes.
We're just getting to the point where people are actually watching us on YouTube and they are listening to on today. We got a follower on SoundCloud.
Nice.
Yeah. So, it's starting. It's. I think the way that we're doing it now allows me to cut things up so you could have that 3, 4, 5 clip playlist, and all the clips are 10 minutes long. And so if you did only listen to it for 3 minutes, you're probably listening to some of the best 3 minutes that we're going to do that day. This show is a little bit weird because it's kind of a throwback because it's been hard for me to chop the segments because we've just been rolling. But if that's going to be the case, I'll just let it roll. I was in the mood to do a show like this where we weren't doing not so much that we weren't doing the articles, but that we're having a more normal conversation than just doing the articles.
Yes, I agree. And I think that's an important thing for us is to not see. Am I coming through? Yeah.
What?
See, I don't know if
when you talk,
Scott's is going on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, something is going on with yours, Scotty. Because like right now I'm talking and your bar is going on.
Yep. Something's playing into your mic, Scotty.
Only from his voice, though. All right, try again.
Check. 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, that happened again there. But it is only from his voice. That's weird.
Oh, it just happened for you, John.
Yeah, a little bit it did. Now I don't hear you.
Now we can't hear you, Scott.
Hold on now.
I hear you.
Are your headphones put up that loud?
No, that's the microphone. I don't hear you.
But what I'm saying is, like, your microphone is picking up us talking.
Oh, what? I'm an old deaf man. Try it now.
Check 1 2. Check.
See, I turned my phones down and it came through anyway. It's not that.
What's weird is that when I talk, it's only low. It's not completely up. When Thaddeus talks, it's all the fucking way up.
Yeah, like right now I'm a little closer to my mic.
Is that what it is?
No,
so let me, if I talk back here a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. That's weird.
It's still coming through. And it comes through better than if I'm talking.
That's really bad.
All right, can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Your laptop or whatever isn't speakers aren't on, right?
No.
Okay.
Should be.
What's even weirder is that wasn't happening the entire time we were doing it. Like you were talking before, Thaddeus, and this is like it just started happening.
Yeah.
Now
it's happening almost every time.
Yeah.
Before it was like a little bit here, a little bit there.
What changed when you got up, Scotty? You got up and went to do something. What changed?
I have less liquid in my bladder.
Oh, maybe that's it.
So absorbing the.
It's vibrating through his asshole.
Oh, here's the game. All right, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right, Thaddeus.
Yeah.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Yep, still there.
That's crazy, bro. I don't know. I mean,
It's after our Star Wars talk because it sounds like fucking the Imperial Code, like when the fucking robot's talking.
Maybe it's YouTube. They heard they're talking about us shutting down on August 1st. Now they're fucking
Now they're fucking with us.
Yep.
Oh man.
Test. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So
Check.
the main mix. I turned down a little bit. Maybe that was part of it. So I'll just keep an eye on it.
That's all you could do. So I don't know if you guys could see this. There he is.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So that was.
I saw that. I just didn't know who he was.
Yeah, let's get you. Well, when you see the movie, you'll understand. Great flick. So let's roll this one for a second here.
Oh,
So,
okay. There was one other thing, and I didn't know if it was appropriate to mention it before or not. But we were talking about Comic-Con stuff, and it had to do with the Watchmen. If you guys know anything about that,
what, the TV show?
I don't know.
All right, okay. The Watchmen is one of the great. It was one of the best graphic novels ever written.
Yeah. Well,
Then they did a movie which was
with a big blue peen.
right, big blue fucking.
That's all
swing.
anybody remembers about the movie. Not
Okay.
not if it was good or not.
it's canon then.
What happened?
Yes.
It's not canon then,
What's not canon?
like the movie or whatever.
Well, the movie follows exactly the book. It's just not as good. But
Yeah.
no, I mean it is. I mean that's
Okay. No, because apparently, like, I don't know, it was under movie details or something where they were like, was it like Night Owl or somebody?
that owl. Yeah.
He intercedes in the robbery of Batman's parents. And so then that makes that's why Batman is not in that Watchmen universe, because his parents were saved, and so Batman never
All right.
came to be.
Where did that was that in the show or something?
A movie or something.
No, that was not in the movie that I saw. That's what I remember seeing.
Then it was some other movie.
Maybe they made another movie with characters in it. That's weird. Yeah, I never saw that. They do stuff like that all the time, though.
All right.
They have.
No, I won't worry about it then.
Yeah, they have what-if stories like that all the time. I haven't seen that, but I mean, maybe it was in there. I don't know. I don't remember. I haven't read it in a long time.
Pretty cool concept if it's part of.
Yeah, but they do stuff like that all the time. Batman versus Predator. Batman versus the aliens. They do tons of shit like that all the time.
Actually,
Some
of my favorite comics back in the day were those what if comics, and it's basically like, what if so and so never did such and such, and it's like the whole universe and what happens after that moment, kind of thing.
Right. Which is one of the fun things about comics is you could do shit like that.
Yeah.
Well, there's a friend of mine who one of his favorite genres and things that he wants to be a writer about is alternative history. So saying
that's a tough one.
saying like, but doing like actual historical events and saying, well, what if this didn't happen? What if this didn't hold off the Persian army?
Yeah, creating the universe moving forward from that moment.
Right. History is correct up until this moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny about that because that takes what we were talking about before, being able to put yourself in a time period, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then being creative enough. Right. You had to put yourself in that time period and then be creative enough to go somewhere else while also being historically accurate to that culture or whatever it was.
And all the little threads that the history to that moment had, you still have to account for all of them.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, there's some parallel running things that you need to make sure you do whatever. But the beauty of that is, and if this is what you're into, right? Especially if you're looking to create a specific genre, right? The universe is already built for you. You don't have to come up with it, right? Because it's history. You're changing whether fucking Joan of Arc fucking made a difference or whatever, right? And then so you still have a universe that you kind of have to constraints with, but you can change things enough where it's like let's say these fucking people took over instead of these people, what would their rule look like?
But your ability, see, like you would have to, you would almost have to have the degree that I have. You'd have to have like a social science degree, because you would have to know how societies are constructed and how people act within them to make things happen a certain way, right?
To make sure that it's feasible.
Right. But you would also have to know how that particular culture in that particular time would have acted, and then how society would be built based on that. If certain things swung that way. So
and because of that, I would argue it's actually more difficult, because it
can be, especially the further back you go.
You have exactly, because you have to have finite detail about time periods that nobody really has finite detail about. Now that's part of the freedom, is because nobody knows how somebody in like England in 832 would have acted.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's all just bullshit anyway. But fucking, there are people out there that are going to call you out.
Oh, hell yeah.
Scotty and I talk about this all the time. Like, I have a book about weapons. It's specifically about firearms and knives, right? And is made for writers. And the guy in there, the guy who writes it, is a weapons expert. And he's like, look, there are people that are experts. If they read your book and you have the wrong terminology, they're going to call you out and your book is shit.
Right. It's going to take them out of their plausible deniability, or whatever it's called, the whatever that immersion is. Where, like, I'm okay with the time travel thing because of whatever this term is. I can't remember it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck. Suspense of something.
Oh yeah, suspended disbelief.
Right. Yeah.
And that's fine. But if you've got something where, like, a guy's got a Walther PPK and he's shooting 45 caliber bullets, there's going to be people that are going to be like, fuck you, I'm never reading your book again.
That's it. And usually they're the ones that would have read your book.
Right. And they would buy everything. Like, take, Tom Clancy is the extreme level of that.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason why so many of his books sells. He's one of the few people that, there are not many $1 million writers. He's one of them.
Yeah. And he's the way I write things about the details, because that's just the way that I am. I'm thick, and there's that guy out there that's going to fact check me. The internet has taught me that there's not a goddamn thing I can write, that there's not some person that's going to casually come by and say, you're wrong.
Yeah. Oh, it's true. Somebody's always looking to call you out while you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. So I've got tons of books on, like, different fact things, on, like, psychology and details on this. And I used to have the books just like you did on, like, firearms. It was from an RPG point of view, but it had like technically accurate details to say that, like, well, this is, a Russian machine gun, a DSHK, and that fires, a 12.7 millimeter round.
Yeah. If you don't know those things, you're shit. If you're writing about it.
Especially if you're basing it on some kind of, like, revisionist reality, right?
Right.
If you're doing some kind of fantasy piece, then, you have more freedom, right?
Yeah.
Same thing, like when you're watching Back to the Future, you don't sit there and go, wow, fucking the lightning and like.
Because no one has a flux capacitor.
Exactly. Right?
And you can't prove it wrong. My flux capacitor doesn't work that way.
Yeah, right.
I get 1.121. I could do it 1.1 gigawatts.
What the hell is a gigawatt?
Right. Nobody. Right. Nobody's having that conversation. But if you have it about if you are doing something like the weaponry of the Roman army, what if this battle in the Roman history didn't work? There are a lot of Roman historians that are going to come out and say, yo.
Yeah. And you set the level of detail, because you can just say, well, the guy walked in and he had a pistol in his hand and he fired at such and such, and those details don't matter. But the second you go in and say, well, he had a Colt firearms, 1945 such and such, you better have all the rest of the details right. And now that you started calling out details on that, they're going to be looking at other stuff.
Well, that's why specifically right now I write popcorn, and I'm just fine with writing popcorn. I write the kind of stuff that entertains me reading it. And when I'm reading something, right, it's usually so I could forget about my fucking day because it was fucked up.
Yeah.
Right. So what I do, and I always tell you, I've said this on fucking. This is show 61. I've said this on 42 of them. Stephen King writes every single thing that's on the table when all you need to know is that there's a fucking table.
Mm.
Why do I need 5
Get
pages
away
to
with it.
remember the table?
He's literally the only writer that can get away with that.
Right. Like, I don't need to know what's on the table. What's your favorite dinner? That's what's on the fucking table. There you go. Fill it in yourself. What kind of weapon did he have? I don't know. What do you think looks nasty? What do you think it looks going to scare somebody? That's it. There you go.
I think I just read my first Stephen King book, right? And that was the thing that came of it. Like, it was like a page and a half, and like nothing happened. It was just describing some bull. It was what do you supposition? No, not.
That's why I can't.
I was going to say that was not expected with him because his reputation made me think otherwise of his writing. Still a good story. I enjoyed it, but God, that was like some stuff to go through.
1,500 pages of writing for 300 pages of story.
Yeah.
He's a better storyteller than writer.
Yeah.
I think it's the other way around. I think he's a better writer than storyteller.
No. I think Thaddeus has got it right because you go through that because the story is good enough to slog through it.
Yeah.
A better writer would not have that stuff in there, but if they couldn't craft the story.
Okay. Okay. See, look at this. I'm saying I am wrong. I did not think I had it in me.
You don't even need to be wrong. That's the beauty of it.
But I think you're exactly right. And the way that you explain it is exactly spot on. That's exactly the way that it is. Yeah. He is a better story. His stories are great, and that's why you stay into it. But the writer, like Mark Twain, would be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Mark Twain just like, what is all this bullshit?
Right.
Yeah.
You could take 1,500 pages out of this and it'd be still the same great story.
Why are you still describing the knife on the table? God damn it.
Oh my God. That'd be great. Like if we could have like a little thing of like, historical X, criticizes other historical X. Like two great names, Newton.
If they can do those fucking videos of the rap battles of fucking all that shit, we could do something like that, man.
Oh yeah.
Which rolls me into the next thing. And I guess I was going to try to break this up, but I didn't know how we even started on this segment or where we going. So let's just whatever. Based on all the stuff, we were talking how we want to do some more of those questions of like that like guess our personality there. If you could hang out with somebody for a day, and we could do one of each. We could do if you could hang out with somebody anywhere out there who's alive currently for a day, who would it be? And if you could hang out with anybody from history who's dead, who would it be? If you could hang out with them for a day. Let's do the live one first. Anybody alive? If of all the people alive, if you could hang out with anyone for a day, who would it be?
See, this is tough, right? Because, like, one of the first people that pops up into my head, right, would be like George Lucas, right? Because I love Star Wars, right?
Right.
I don't know if hanging out with George Lucas would actually be that good of a time, right? Because, like, after the first, like, I don't know, couple of minutes of talking about Star Wars, if that's what you would do, he'd be fucking done with it, right? I guess
Sure.
like if see, I don't know. I just don't think hanging out with George Lucas, as much as I respect him and as much of my life he's shaped, I don't know if I'd hang out with George Lucas.
It's true. Like, would you have a good time hanging out with him all day?
Yeah.
What the fuck? After an hour, what would you do anymore?
Like he could show me fucking mark out, right? I'd fucking jizz my pants and all the cool shit. Maybe we get like a burrito together, but like after that, like.
So shit, George Lucas likes burritos.
Yeah.
Like something deeper than that because it's more than just who was like some icon that like in a almost one-dimensional or two-dimensional layer I like, but who do I actually think that I would actually want to freaking hang out with?
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's like on a historical level, the anybody who's dead, right? I could go with Jesus, but kind of the same thing. Like how much can you take of Jesus talking?
Yeah.
But I don't know. You know,
His disciples fucking left him. Why the fuck would I want to hang out with him?
like, is it like he has this aura, like this light around Jesus, and you just bask in his light, and you
No, not at the time.
you know. But at the time, if he's just a guy and he's talking about like fucking eating
dirty
green sprouts and shit, right? I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Now, Bruce Lee, I would probably hang out with all day.
That pisses me off with him, man.
He could train you. He could philosophize. You know, he could get you on the movie set, meet some ladies. You know, there's a lot going on there. Like, you could hang out with Bruce Lee all day, for a day at least. You know.
Yeah, sure.
Well, and part of me was thinking of who's that guy that was in Top Gun?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Like, because part of me thinks, oh, he'd be neat to hang out with, you know, for like an hour.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can take all day with him, though.
See, well, the thing is, if you hung out with Tom Cruise all day, right, some crazy shit would happen to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would want that nowadays, though. Like 20 years ago, maybe.
I don't even want to talk to Tom Cruise. I just want to be able to follow him and watch his crazy fucking day.
Watch his day right now. It's Tom Cruise's world, and we just live in it.
Yeah, well, it's not like that anymore, though. Remember, he's focused nothing but on like himself and his work.
It's not like that because he chooses not to let it be. You know, if every like the aura of Chuck Norris is maybe one thing, but it's not Tom Cruise level. Like, it is his world, and we just live in it. Now, Tom Cruise, right? When I picture hanging out, I saw him once on at Letterman. 50. I was because I worked on 53rd and 9th, and Letterman was 53rd and 7th. So like it was like they were down the block, right?
Yeah.
So I'm walking down the block. I'm walking to the train. Tom Cruise is out there, and like there's a glow around him, and you bask in the light of Tom Cruise. It's true. And I bet you anybody that's met him would tell you the same thing, even whether he's crazy or not.
He's one of the ones that, like, love him or hate him, he is beyond human in a sense.
Yeah.
Well, that what Scientology is.
Like
I mean, not even considering that, to me that's fringe, but like he's larger than life. And he's the kind of guy where there's a lot of stuff that, like, I think he's like absolutely batshit crazy, but he's one of those folks that, like, there's just something that's actually literally something special about him.
He's also never done any Michael Jackson thing, like molesting children or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's never, like, he might be fucking crazy, and he's got the whole Scientology thing, but he's never soiled himself to ruin his reputation.
He's not a bad person.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, Nicole Kidman was just on recently talking about how she still loves him, but Scientology, you know, like, the whole life.
Drove a wedge. Yeah. Same thing with
Katie Holmes.
What's her name? Katie Holmes. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's a guy. You know what I picture with him? I picture you hang out with Tom Cruise, and he gets you to some crazy shit like it's The Hangover.
Yes. That's why I say, man, just following Tom Cruise around, and it's got to be a regular day for him. Not like this kid's following me around, so let me do some boring shit. Like, I want to see the real Tom Cruise day.
Right. Yeah. Right. Because with him, it wouldn't be. I'm gonna take this guy out and show him a good time and see how I party.
Right. Because that's easy. Yeah.
Well, it's not even that. You probably couldn't handle it. For Tom Cruise going out partying is like flying stunt helicopters and fucking doing fucking crazy wheelies on jumping over ramps with fucking motorcycles.
I'm like physically not healthy enough to go have a good time with Tom Cruise.
Right.
Like I'm just like, not even from a stamina point of view, I'm just like not healthy enough to do it.
A good time with Tom Cruise would kill you.
Well, it would literally kill a mere mortal.
Right. You're just an average man. What are you talking about?
It's true, though. It's fucking true.
Your feeble human form cannot handle the power of Tom Cruise.
So I guess there you go. I guess I got my 2. I think it would have to be a day with Tom Cruise. I think we've all convinced me.
Yeah. He's like the modern day equivalent of Achilles or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, he's just demigod.
Well, we've talked about this a million times. We started the show talking about pickup artist shit, right? And like social dynamics. And the guy who wrote the book, The Game, Neil Strauss, Tom Cruise requested that Neil Strauss write a story, write an article about him in Rolling Stone.
I remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and Neil Strauss, who was at the time was considered like the second best pickup artist in the entire world, guy with all kinds of women that probably should not have been able to do it, and he's just a master, so he was able to. And he says in the book, The Game, that Tom Cruise is the AMOG of AMOGs. So you know, AMOG means alpha male of the group. Like he's the lead dog, and everyone else falls in behind him.
Yeah.
Now, when Tom Cruise walks into the room, it doesn't matter who's in the room.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is the lead dog. He's the AMOG of AMOGs.
Right. So no matter where in the world, any social situation, he's it doesn't matter who does what. He's the guy on top.
Exactly. That because there's a glow about him, and you bask in the light of Tom Cruise.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's some people that don't feel that way, but like there are people that we look up to that would think it would be cool to hang out with Tom Cruise for a day.
Right. And the thing is that it doesn't even matter if you agree with what we say about Tom Cruise or not. It doesn't change the facts. Yeah. It is what it is.
Right. Right.
You know, I don't care if you believe it or not.
You could disagree. Right. This is science.
Yeah.
Like personally, I'm not a big Tom Cruise fan.
No, neither am I. That's what I'm saying. Like,
everything we're talking about is still fact.
Right. 100%.
Well, you know what?
Especially
there's another thing
at this point in his life. Maybe not early in his life, but
there's another thing though. There's an it factor, right? And maybe like which Tom Cruise, Days of Thunder Tom Cruise, you know, maybe a little earlier than that, this is definitely the case, right? Top Gun Tom Cruise,
Top Gun, 100%. Cocktail.
Right. That period, 100%. Some people have a charisma about them where they just walk in and even, I know Tom Cruise. And then they walk in, oh my God, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
So great. They just they have a charisma about you, right? That wins you over, right? As for as crazy as he is, I've seen interviews of his. I read that Rolling Stone interview, and like Neil Strauss, he's like, you know, he actually got down on himself, talking, oh yeah, you know, I'm just a writer. And Tom Cruise is like, what do you mean? And he's serious. And this is where the crazy part, but also the Scientology part, right? He's like, what do you mean? No, you're a writer, man. That's great. Be a writer. Be the best writer you could be. Be a writer, man. That's great.
Yeah.
And he's all about do what you do. Just do it the best.
Right. Whatever it is you do,
it.
It should be the best. And if you can't do that, then do something else that you can do that.
Right.
And I remember
be that.
You talk about this like this, it's a presence, right? Like this charisma, this thing where you own the room and these people. And I remember thinking to myself, that's bullshit. Like that doesn't exist. People are people, and we only ascribe these things to them because we know, I know that's Oprah, so therefore I know that's X, Y, or Z actor, so therefore. But there was probably 2 or 3 times in my life where I was just out and about in my world doing my thing. And then something caught my eye, and there was this person that was larger than life. And then but I didn't know who they were. But somebody else said, yo, that's such and such from the news. You know, they've been on the news for 30 years. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even know that. Or there was one guy that came in the grocery store I used to work at when I was in my early 20s. Or I'm sorry, early 20s. And I was like, oh, that's such and such. But I could tell that this person owned the place when he came into the grocery store, and I'm like, holy shit, who is this person? That is somebody. I have no idea who he is. And one guy was like, that's like, you know, such and such from Boys to Men. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I love that group. I'm going to go talk to him. I'm like, okay. But there were like 2 or 3 of these times where I didn't know who these people were, but yet they still dominated my attention and had presence throughout the room. And I literally never saw this person before in my life. That's when I realized it's freaking real. There are literally people that are larger than life. So I don't think I'll be a superstar one day, but
look at and you equivalent it to something, and you know, John, I'm sure you can speak to this, especially as a Yankee fan. Derek Jeter was not the best shortstop of his era, let alone any era. His numbers are not that favorable versus other people, like averages and stuff like that.
He's a compiler, solid offensive numbers. Struck out way too many times, not enough home runs and RBIs and shit like that. But you know, I mean, not for
but there was something about Jeter, and that's why he was the captain of the Yankees, because of the greatest franchise in any sport. And I mean, maybe somebody wants to argue, you know, like soccer franchises or whatever, but like especially American sports, by far best franchise.
What set him apart, what made him better than everyone else, was that it was the flip. It was diving into the stands against Boston. It was the play that had to be made. He came out of nowhere and made it, and he did it every time they needed it. He made every play. It wasn't the great play. It wasn't the numbers. It was the clutch play. It was the play that needed to be made when it needed to be made. He made it every time, and that's what set him apart from everyone else. A-Rod, classic joker.
Yeah, and I was just going to say another thing with Jeter. The moment never felt too big for him.
Right.
Like you didn't even if he made out, even if he flew out to end the game and there was a runner on third or something like that, you were like, that moment wasn't too big for Jeter. He just missed it.
Right. You thought he was going to get it. You thought it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like you'd want that guy. Like that bigger than life thing, man. I remember I was fucking 19 or 20 and I was about to go to Oklahoma State and I was outside Chelsea Pier. It was a Chelsea hole. It was a pool hole on 23rd Street in Manhattan. And across the street comes Johnny Cochran. OJ's lawyer, Johnny Cochran. And he had 6 women on each side of him as he walked in a huge fur coat. Yeah. It was like a mink coat with a big fucking, like the kind of like the old ladies wear. Yeah. Oh, here's Johnny Cochran wearing this thing, and he's got 6 ladies on each side, man. It was crazy.
These ladies didn't even care he was wearing an old woman's coat.
Right.
I mean, no, I'm not going to say that they were prostitutes. All I'm going to say is Johnny Cochran was larger than life.
Yeah. Who's that guy that was in McHale's Navy? Ernest Borgnine? Yeah. This is when I was out in Vegas, John, and we were in like Laughlin or something. We were just sort of exploring the area. And we went into this like freaking, it was the middle of freaking nowhere. I don't even know it was Laughlin. It was just some freaking place in the middle of nowhere that we stopped because it was there and there was nothing else around. And we walked in and fucking Ernest Borgnine is there. And he hasn't been relevant for like 50 years or whatever the hell it's been, right? But he was so larger than life. Like he just commanded your attention. And you walked in and it was like, huh? And it's not like he had this giant group around him. It was his presence. There was it was a distinct difference between like an entourage, right? Between an entourage that creates this group environment because he had no entourage, and just I remember that smile on his face and the way that entire place was his.
You know what I'm more impressed by? Somehow this is the second time we've gotten Ernest Borgnine in like a month.
Is it really?
Yeah. Remember we were talking about Devil's Reign. That's too long ago. I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was like a month ago or so.
Yeah, it was like a month ago. The Devil's Reign. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Amazing.
What's
it's like Captain Smackahoe. It always comes back around.
It always does. It always does. But I was laughing about that because it's swagger is what it is, right? John Wayne had it. Like everyone knew John Wayne. Was there, right? My buddy,
the walk, the talk, everything. Yeah.
My buddy who Roberto Vega is based on, right? The other day, there's the Michael Kay show in New York. It's a sports show, right? And Kay is on. He's on leave because he had a surgery or whatever. So they had the co-hosts. And they're doing this trivia. And my buddy calls in on the show and he answers the question. He's like, he's about the 90s Yankees. And they go crazy. Oh, we love, the confidence, the swagger. He's got it down. He knows it. Not even hesitation. Right? They're going crazy. And it's something that me and this kid used to joke about all the time because like there's a certain, you walk into a room. We used to walk into the barbecue place and everyone would stop. And watch us come and sit down. And then when it was time when one of us went up to go to take a leak, everyone would stop eating and watch us get up and go to the bathroom.
You can do it, bro. You're this far away.
I know. If only I was cool still. But like, yeah, no, there's a certain way of carrying yourself. When you walk into the room, everyone knows that you're there.
Yeah.
Now, when I am in my element, and I'm a loud, boisterous guy when I'm in my element and when I'm feeling relaxed. You know, you take me to a ball game and you take me to a Yankee game, you might not want to see the results.
I guess my wife's in the show now.
I see that. But yeah, man, swagger. I've seen it in action. I've seen it with regular people in action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, and it's like it's obviously not on the same level of some of these other people you're talking about, but there are definitely regular Joes, so to speak, that can command a room. Maybe not the room, but a room.
Yeah, and Tom Cruise commands them all.
Yeah. Like on a smaller level, like the captain of your JV team or the football team or the whatever the case may be, right? Someone that has charisma, leadership skills, you feel like you can trust them or follow them, right? That kind of thing. It's a real thing. Some people have it, some people don't.
Apparently, I don't. Otherwise, we would have a lot more followers.
I think we're all kind of in the same boat as far as that goes.
All right, let's dump out of this.
Mm.
Only because I don't know when that bit started or when it ended, so I don't know how long it was. And since Scotty left the shot, we can just take a break for a minute. Bullshit, because I was getting tired. Like, I don't know, like, it was good so far. A lot of good stuff. All good segments, not really our normal shit, but good segments all the same, and not even a whole lot to have to cut out. This is going to be a lot. It's going to be a long show. This could be like 20-minute clips.
Yeah.
So far, I think we have like 4 of them, so that's not bad. Shit. Yeah. I'm getting tired though.
Yeah, do whenever you need to call it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to, but I'm waiting for fucking Scotty to come back so we can
come back from banging his wife.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, so let's see how long that takes.
Welcome home, babe.
Oh, Scotty. It's terrible that we're recording this too.
Yeah,
but this is what happens though. You start rambling incoherently after a certain amount of time.
I think too. We're on like stare watch on Scotty's. Yeah, see, like his thing is popping up right now.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how that's going to come out in the feed, but it definitely is. Yeah, that's it. Like he's got a speaker on somewhere.
Yeah, something's bleeding through. Definitely.
Yeah, there's no way that happens unless a speaker is playing. He has the headphones, right? The headphones are plugged in, right? What could it be? If the headphones are plugged in, what could it be that's kicking that out?
Like what the fuck? Like, and this is the goofy stuff where it's like, how do you even put your finger on it? Like the shit that goes on with Walt.
I know. What the fuck, man? Every week.
And I think that weird thing. It's like he'll be on with you, and I come on after, and it's like he can't hear me. He goes out, he comes back, and everything's fucking perfect.
Now so that's weird. Possible. It's possible that it has something to do with Hangouts discontinuing and some weird glitch because of that.
Sure.
But I think it's more likely that he's got a crappy computer, like he needs a new sound card on his computer. I think it's most likely the case.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know. That's very strange. Which also now all of a sudden they're telling us August 1st, so we don't have a lot of time. It's really 3 weeks before we can. Before they, so we got to figure out something with that we could. It's a webinar. It's a conference call. It's a live conference call, and we can record it. So I don't know. That's the key. Is how do we do the conference call that we can record?
Yes. Or is doing one of these extensions or whatever with YouTube? Is that going to get us to where we need to go?
Yeah, I mean, if it's $10 a month, $15 a month, I'll get that. Yeah. Whatever.
Because ultimately,
$10 a month, nonsense.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Ultimately, too, I would like to think that we could do these live shows. Maybe if we didn't do like every time we record, it's live. Let's say, but especially as we grow an audience, being able to have live interaction with people where they feel like they can like send something in chat and we can see it and we can comment on it or whatever the fuck may be, you know?
I do like the idea of that. You know what I what's good? Most of these guys don't do that. Most of these podcasters don't do live shows, right?
Yeah.
Radio shows do live shows, and I think you and I have more the idea of the radio show concept in there, right? Where you have call-ins and you could go over topics where your call-ins and the people that are connected to the live show can steer you a bit, right?
Yeah.
I like the idea. Say we went on every week, and we're consistently going on every week.
Mm-hmm.
Like 3 weeks, you do our dopey shit, and then the 4th week we do a live show.
Yeah.
On just whatever we wanted up going. So 3 weeks you do your routine, your articles, and the 4th week is us.
Mm.
You're doing a show like this, only you have it live.
Yeah.
That way you have a lot of variety in that.
Exactly. And we don't even need to allow people to call in for them to be interactive these days too, right? Just if we just have a chat room going, and anytime something like pops up that's interesting or whatever, like, oh hey, fucking Mikey fucking 38724 said
the only thing that gets tough
Sam
with that,
Jackson has swagger, like, oh yeah, that's another good one,
The only thing that gets tough with that, right, is that if you pay attention, if you watch live broadcasts, whether live podcasts, whether live, like the shit scrolls so fast you can't even keep up.
It can, yeah, sure. Yeah, if we get to the point where we're so popular that fucking whatever, but
or if you just
there are ways around it.
Like dicks.
Yeah.
If you got 5 guys, I feel like being assholes. They just keep pounding away at the keys. And you just
Yeah, we could fucking ban them too.
Yeah, well, that's true. You do have the power of the ban.
Time them out or whatever the fuck it is,
Yeah.
But yeah, even if it's not our, like I said, our 9 to 5, so to speak, is live, but doing special shows like that, especially where people, like I said, just being able to fucking be like, oh yeah, I love Star Wars. Hey, fucking yeah, Jonathan loves Star Wars too. Yeah, thanks for listening. Shit like that. It goes a long way for people.
The next step.
Yes,
that is the next
ideally.
Step because again, radio shows have what radio shows. I've had people say, "How come you guys don't have more viewers?" They like what we're doing. People, the people that listen to it like it. It's just, getting them interested in it long enough. But it's the guests, because people tune in for guests. It's the ability to call in because people want to be part of the show.
Yeah.
The ability to take those commercial breaks where you step away for a little bit so we get a little bit of a break and something else is going on while it's happening. That helps for a live show because you get to take a breather for a minute, right?
Yeah.
And then the last thing is the money. The production value, and that's, we're going to have an issue with that. That's going to hold you back. But those are the things, the more money, the more production value means the more guests. The more guests means the more people want to interact with the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But again, it's like that chicken and egg. If you don't have the money to put the resources in, the resources can't be the thing that drives the get, so it's like.
Exactly. But the more people want to interact with the show and the more guests you have, the more commercial breaks you get, because more people are going to want to sponsor the show, which means the more money you get to be able to watch it all over. So if you don't have that, you don't have any of it. So,
and that's why I say too, like the chat room, like, because like, let's say we figure out a way to go live on YouTube. YouTube has its own chat built right in. People can watch us kind of in the background. It could be on or whatever, and we say something that resonates with them, and they fucking come over to their keyboard. Oh yeah, I'd love to have dinner with fucking Phoebe Cates.
Phoebe Cates, yeah, that's a good one. There he goes.
Now talk about swagger.
Yep.
Her coming out of the pool was all the swagger I needed.
I mean, where is he? Is he in there?
He's putting his dick back in the pants.
That's exactly what he's doing. He's cleaning himself up.
Yeah.
Hey, Scotty, you usually get those wipes?
Paper towels work perfectly fine.
I don't mind the raw scratches on my dick.
I'm not red or anything. I got the sweat beads are all.
Hey, honey, welcome home. Gotta get back downstairs.
Yeah, I wish that were the case. Guess who came down as soon as we went up there?
Oh, of course, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yep. Well, that's natural. That's what they do.
I know, especially her.
Yeah.
Kids.
Yep. That's how it is. My daughter finds every fucking excuse in the world to get out of bed until like 9:30. And I think she just
Worse.
I think she only stops because she just physically exhausts herself by getting out of bed left and right, so
Yeah.
she just can't get up anymore.
And the thing is that when they get older, that extends to like, I don't know, midnight.
Yeah, I got to get a hamster wheel. No, run on the wheel.
It doesn't matter. No, you could do that. I've taken them where they freaking ran around all goddamn day long to the point where I'm exhausted watching them do it.
Yeah.
And they come home and it's still the same thing as if they just woke up.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter.
Yeah,
We had friends
No.
just stay over, and this leads me into two different paths, and I'll be concise because I know that I go down hallways more than anybody. So the one aspect, the kid aspect, right? They have a younger daughter. She's still only like I don't know, that 6-7 range or whatever it is.
Right.
Maybe she's just younger than my son, which would put her, I guess, in 5. No, she's not that young. But anyway, so she's that fucking age, and getting her to go to sleep. Like my kids, they fucking get tired. They're like, I want to lay my head down, or can we go to bed? I don't know who this kid they are, but they're great as far as just falling off to sleep, right? Not really nagging to stay up, kind of thing, unless there's something they really want to do. But this girl, man, she was like, "Oh, can I have water?" You're already in bed. You gotta have water. Oh, but I'm hot. This and blah da da da. All right, fine. Sip of water, right? And then after the sip of water, oh, I'm itchy. I'm this. I'm that. And all right, roll over and go to bed. The TV's distracting me. Motherfucker, that shit been on the whole fucking time.
Right.
But it's just that kid factor. It's literally, and they lay there with their eyes open, staring into the abyss, waiting for the next excuse to like pop into their head that they can just fucking say something, right? Because like they know they can't just say, "Oh, I want more water," because then fucking they break it and it gets shut down. You come up with something new, maybe there's a different angle I could play.
Right. And I
So
even
go ahead. Oh, so from the second angle, the parents, right, especially the mother, she's like, all right, if the fucking kids are bad, you know what I make them do? Push-ups and fucking burpees. You piss mommy off, you're doing fucking push-ups and burpees. So if you don't want to do those things, don't fucking piss mommy off. And if you do, then you're gonna fucking tire yourself out.
that's it.
They had a story where they were, I guess the kids were just really fucking driving her crazy. She fucking pulls off onto the side of the road, turns around and yells, "Get out of the car! You're doing push-ups!" And she said the kids were just sitting there like, holy shit, she just pulled off of the highway. Like, yo, Mom, we are so sorry. We could. We don't want to do push-ups in the fucking highway.
Yeah, and I remember when we kept being late for school as like sort of like a little piece of that. And my mom threatened us. She said, well, because normally we had to take the bus. So it was not, the school was definitely not, it was literally on the other side of town. And she said, if you guys are late one more time, you're walking to school. And lo and fucking behold, we were like running behind, and she made us just start. Well, it was raining and shit too. It was like the worst day for it to have happened. She was driving along at like 1 mile an hour as we were just walking and literally bawling tears on the side.
But that's why sometimes you have to go through with it though. Now the hard part is us being in that driver's seat. You got like we have a hard time pulling the trigger.
Yeah,
because but you've got to, because otherwise because once they know you're not going to actually do it, you're fucked.
Yeah.
So you got to actually do it once in a while.
They just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing until you fucking explode and you fucking scream at them. They cry and then it's over. But then like the next day,
they keep doing the next time. So you have to, like what stopped when I was a kid. My mother told us once that they were that they called child services. She packed bags for me and my sister and said they called child services. And you had to wait outside the stoop for them to come. They're coming in a blue car. And then we're sitting out there and a blue car pulls up and stops right in front of our house. We freaked the fuck out. We lost our minds. And I think we were good for like 2 years after that.
Perfect.
Every time you see a fucking blue car, they fucking shake a little bit. Is that the
Exactly.
one? Is they here for us?
But I'm getting tired. I'm falling asleep, so I want to do the show closing.
All right.
All right. So let's.
First he goes up and has sex with his fucking wife. Now he's eating wings. This
I
motherfucker.
know. What the fuck? I don't know how he's
From
going to talk.
Buffalo. They're literally buffalo wings.
Oh, nice. All right, let's roll this. Well, I think that's enough for tonight, folks. So we're gonna cut out. Gentlemen, any last words? Thaddeus?
Oh, Scott can't talk because he's got fucking wings in his mouth. Son of a bitch.
Okay, that's Thaddeus' last words.
Yeah.
Scotty?
And my last words is ain't nothing like wings from Buffalo.
There you go. Thaddeus, would you like to retort?
Fuck Scott.
All right. Anyway,
Now I want
check,
wings.
Hey, I get that.
check us out on SoundCloud and YouTube, Mad TMC, The Garage. And buy our books. Check us out on Amazon, Meadows Presents. Any money that we get from that kind of thing can go into this kind of thing. So let's get all kinds of things into your kind of thing.
Yeah, I want to put
night, folks.
you put your thing in my thing, we put our thing in your thing, and then everybody gets a thing. All right? Yeah, all right.
It's how the world goes around.
Exactly.
Good night, folks.